Years ago, there was a Japanese scientist named Masaru Emoto, and he did a study on water droplets. And what he would do is he would expose these water droplets to something in the external environment, and then he would cryogenically freeze them. So incredibly quickly freeze them, and then look at their composition. And the water droplets that he exposed to words such as, or thoughts, such as, I love you, you're beautiful, thank you. When he froze these water droplets, they had beautiful shapes. They almost looked like snowflakes. And they were each uniquely patterned with their own geometric, shapes. But when he exposed water droplets to harsher words, such as, you disgust me, or I hate you, the outcome was a little bit different. It almost looked as if there was no beautiful geometric patterns. It was like almost as if when you take like food and you smear it, like all of the streaks and lines and dots, like there was no geometry to it. It just looked a mess. And so it was really intriguing and interesting to look into the findings of this study. It sort of goes along with the other study where they took plants and they put them in the same soil. They put them exposed to the same sun. They were watered exactly the same, but some plants had a postcard attached to them with words that said I love you. And then other plants with I hate you, or you are awful. And the plants with the positive postcards attached to them, they grew and most beautifully, and they grew more rapidly than the plants that had the cards attached to them that said negative things. And what these studies ultimately show us is that we are directly affected by not only words and thoughts, but energy, our environments. And something else to consider. The human body, essentially most of us are made up of, I believe it's 60% water. And I wrote these down because I found it interesting, with 60% for the most part across the board. But our brain and our heart is 73% water. And our lungs being 83%. Even things like our bones are 31% water. And so to understand that water is directly affected by things such as words and thoughts and things that they are exposed to. Well, the water in our bodies is no different. So each time we are exposed to a positive experience or a negative experience, the water droplets or cells inside of our body are listening and they act accordingly. So they're constantly reshaping and reorganizing themselves depending on what we're exposed to. This says everything about our environment. It just goes to show that where we place ourselves matter. It matters for our health. It matters for our growth. It matters for just our well-being in general. And now the Bible goes on to say that the power of life and death is in the tongue. The words that we speak, we can either speak life into somebody or something, or we can speak death into somebody or something based, on what we're choosing to say. And the words that leave our mouth hold power. How we talk to other people, how we treat other people, how we treat our animals, our plants, directly affects the environment around us. And then we are also being directly affected by that environment. Now, not only is it words, but the words that we think in our mind, they matter too. So our thoughts, our body is constantly listening to the things, the conversations that are going on in our mind. So being extra aware of what we speak, what we think, and the environments that we are exposing ourselves to is everything. This even includes, movies, music, anything that is speaking or generating an energetic field or projecting into our environment impacts us. So what are you exposing yourself to?